Good afternoon and welcome back to South Africa, taking a little bit of a hold for the Corona Open JBay as we had the quarterfinals set and ready to go. And boy, do we have some catching up to do. During the break, we had a brilliant free surf going down, and you see one man, Connor Coffin, he once thought was eliminated from the contest by Jordy Smith, but now bringing his evidence from his filmer down the beach of that end section barrel ride that he opened up with. He's earned himself a free surf from the head judge, Richie Porta. And so Jordy Smith back down the stairs again to redo this round 5 matchup. He surfed early this morning to try to fight for that spot with Felipe Toledo in the quarterfinals. Continue Joe Turpel alongside former world champ Martin Potter. Potts, as we know, these things rarely happen in pro surfing, and the great part about the World Surf League, if you have enough evidence with a long point like this, if something was missed, like Richie Porta said that there was,
yep,
we're going to run the heat again.
Absolutely. And the scenario really, we've got cameras all the way down the point. The last camera down the end there was filming Jordy's finish, and that was the only camera that could have given us conclusive evidence of the Connor's wave, and unfortunately it didn't. So Connor's filmer had the evidence, produced it to Richie Porter, the head judge, and got himself a resurf. So, and it was, I was talking to Mick Fanning and a bunch of the crew there as well, and they said it was one of the best barrels of the day. So, hence that, we want to be fair, we want to give these guys equal opportunity. But in saying that, poor Jordy, I mean, he's already had one resurf, and he's on his way back out for yet again another resurf. So, this was the wave that Connor Coffin was on, and it was an absolute bomb. Probably one of the bigger barrels down through the inside section. You can see it starting to stand up, and this is where he pulls in. Now, as this wave peels down the line, we clip to the other camera and you just see the exit. Now, we missed probably about 50 to 80 yards of that tube ride. Connor said he was standing up tall. He went over the foam ball. The angle switched, and we just saw him come out the end, so we're going to have the resurf.
All about angles, all about resources. Head judge Richie Porta has seen all the changes in the sport of surfing for a very long time. Richie, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, gents.
And explain to us what happened during the break and the ultimate decision to put them back out in the lineup.
Well, Potts just explained it pretty to a T. You know, the first camera that we used down there, that we've used all yesterday and day one, it was on Jordy, and we had Connor's wave in our vision. Then it moves down into that section and that tide, and on our vision, yeah, for sure, he's in the barrel, but we're not sure how deep he is. And when in the judging side of things, we always err on the lower side, so we don't guess up, if you get what I mean. We always go, yeah, we recognise he's in the barrel, but we don't know how deep he is. A lot of these barrel shots like that, often they're only just in the barrel or not quite in the barrel. So we stick on the low side, and we drop the 6.9 on him, which was was a fair score for the vision we saw. And then when I saw the real vision, it's pretty much more like a 9-point ride, and that changes the dynamics of the heat right there, because it was right at the start of the heat. If that wave had been right at the end of the heat, and he's chasing a 9.74, then, you know, the score would have been different, but we wouldn't be doing a resurf, because it wouldn't have given him the 9.74. But as you guys know as competitors, that the dynamics of what you're chasing in regards to your heat and the numbers and the waves you're trying to get, like Connor obviously wasn't happy with his score. We saw him splash the water after his score was read out. So he's going, well, okay, that didn't work for me. Now I have to try something different. So to be fair, it's like we have to just do it again, because it's just one of those things. It very rarely happens, but in this case, we're locked into the resurf, and away we go. And as I was saying this morning, there's always something in surfing to keep you on your toes. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
So, Richie, that would be Article 166.05, is that correct?
Sounds like it.
Alrighty, that's the one where we get the free resurf. Obviously, like Richie's explaining, doesn't happen too often. For Richie Porta, being a head judge, you want the integrity of sport to be clear. And I love the call just to do it again. When you see evidence, it's not like you're going, okay, we made a mistake. Let's make good on this, and let's have the best surfer move on into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about being fair. And you know, Jordy came up and he accepted it. He's not obviously happy. We keep making him surf over and over and over. And it's just one of those things. And you know, as a competitor, you want just your fair shake at a go at a heat, right? And that's why the boys are back out there, and the waves are pumping, and on the flip side, they both get another surf out at amazing JBay with just 2 guys in the water.
Lucky them.
Our head judge, Richie Porter, thank you so much for the time. As we will watch this heat unfold once again, back to round 5, heat number 3, the resurf once again. Jordy Smith versus Connor Coffin. After reviewing the tape, one of the longest right-hand point breaks in the world. Jordy gets another beautiful start. Smith into a glassy open face. Nice top turn wrap with a lot of power and control. Layback, down carve. In transition, back to the float to finish. Maybe all these resurfs are gonna fire him up to the podium. Connor on the answer. Brilliant rail work from the California, now setting up yet another pit. Not super deep quite yet, but it's still running through this inside zone. Now stands up in it. This one still chasing an exit, and Connor comes flying out. Both surfers are heated up. Connor with an extra chance to get back into the quarterfinals. And Jordy Smith fired up, had to resurf his round 4 heat from last night, first thing in the morning.
Wow.
Had the heat with Connor, wasn't aware that they missed that inside section, and we're back up and running again with some fireworks spots.
Oh my goodness. Jordy Smith absolutely fired up. You know, obviously having to resurf the heat from yesterday, this morning, and then now having to resurf round 5 heat. He looks absolutely fired up. That was an amazing wave from Jordy Smith, and then he got to turn around and see Connor in a very similar situation as before. Deep inside the barrel. Let's have a look. Connor's wave there, just a high line as he drives off the bottom here. And there it is, that trademark snap. Holding the rail through his turns, just engaging those fins, setting that rail. This is a big heat for both these guys. The winner will go through to the quarterfinals. And have a look at this wave here. The conditions are absolutely perfect. That southwest wind has come to play. Connor driving through section number 1 into section number 2, out of section number 2 into section number 3, and he sneaks out the end of that one. So an amazing wave there for both Jordy and Connor to kick things off. Joe, look at the conditions. I mean, it is absolutely flawless out here right now. And Connor Coffin driving through that next section there as he goes past a couple of surfers along the line and sneaks out the end. So Connor Coffin claims it and says, thank you very much. What a way to start the heat. Both guys are going to drop excellent scores.
What a battle, what a rematch that we get to witness, and both starting off with massive scores. How'd you like Jordy's first move?
Yeah, I like the passion. You know, Jordy's he's definite showman, and I tell you what, he's going to get the crowd involved in this exchange. And there it is. I mean, that big searing maneuver from Jordy Smith and through the lip again as he comes around the section. Big hacking maneuver from Jordy, bringing that board all the way around and then hooking into it. Just a man turn from Jordy Smith, up and over the lip again. And look at the passion, look at the psyche. He's saying, come on. And as I thought, scores coming through for both these guys. It is going to be excellent scores to kick this heat off. Who is going to get the exchange nod? Who is going to get the better out of the two? Jordy Smith more maneuver-based, Connor Coffin more barrel-based. And the judges are slowly digesting what they just witnessed. Jordy Smith going to town on that one. And look at the passion. Save your energy, Jordy.
Jordy Smith fired up to kick this one off. Remember, in the last heat with Connor, started off into the 9s. Connor Coffin brought his evidence to the panel, if you're just joining us during that break, and they noticed that that end section was out of their view, and Connor was deserving a much bigger score. Such a fair system with the World Surf League. Running this heat one more time on the opening exchange. Connor 8.67. Jordy Smith 9.37. So Jordy out in front with priority, trying to earn that spot once again in the quarterfinals against Felipe Toledo.
Yeah, you know what? Lucky guys, they get to surf this place again. Just 2 guys in the water. It is absolutely pumping. Conditions are way more better than this morning. A lot less wind coming up the face. Just buttery, glassy, not a cloud in the sky. Clean offshore winds, 4 to 6 foot. What else do you need?
It's unbelievable. Jordy can also call himself a surfer that has a perfect heat. There's not very many surfers that can say that. Jordy had to deal with so many heats, obviously a couple of resurfs. He also had to surf in round 2 because of Connor Coffin's performance in the opening round. So Jordy spent the most time out of any other athlete in the lineup with just one other surfer out. But you think about the grand scheme of things as a guy that's going to try to perform on what could be finals day. For Jordy surfing in round 4 this morning, now round 5 twice. Think if he would go the distance to the final, that's 6 big surfs. Mentally trying to move past that whole thing and stay in the moment.
Yeah, you know what? I think it was probably a little bit frustrated, but I think once he took off on that first wave, all those thoughts were out of his mind, and it was just down to business as usual. Ride the wave, focus on the job at hand, live in the moment right now. Don't worry about what's happened or what might happen. Focus on what is happening right this minute, and Jordy Smith did that. 9.37, what a way to start.
And for surf fans, it's a win-win.
Oh, it's a win-win for us too, Joe. We're as much surf fans as anyone, and the only thing better really for me would to be out there by myself.
Jordy winning the opening exchange. Let's get a catch up with our commissioner, Kieran Farrell, with Rosie Hodge.
Oh, wow, Kieran, we've just watched that first exchange of Connor and Jordy. Can you tell us what the call is for the afternoon?
Yeah, absolutely incredible waves out there now. We're really happy we were on a hole for a while. It was kind of lumpy and bumpy. That wind hadn't really decided what it was going to do. It's really cleaned up now. The wind's gone back to a perfect direction. Tide's going out. Going to be awesome waves all afternoon. Unfortunately, with the resurf of this heat, we're not going to be able to finish today. So we will just be finishing the quarterfinals, and we'll come back tomorrow. Great news, we've got a huge swell on tap. It's going to be probably 2 foot bigger than this and should be firing to finish the event tomorrow.
And, you know, deja vu, Jordy Connor meeting up again. Your thoughts on this resurf?
Yeah, I think Richie did a great job just explaining that. It was a very difficult decision. We kind of agonised over it for about 15 minutes whilst we reviewed the footage and then had a discussion, and really it's just the fair application of that rule. It's why we have it, and it's why we changed it about 1.5 years ago for situations like this when unfortunately the panel didn't have the evidence that they needed for the end of that ride. And yeah, so it's the right call, and let's hope for this heat. It's already started off with a bang, so hope for an awesome rematch.
Well, it's always a pleasure to watch these two guys surf again, so we don't mind as fans. Back to you guys.
That's right, Rosie. We're so thrilled to see them back in perfection. Jordy versus Connor, and they're already coming out of the gates blazing. 9.37, 8.67 on the start. Former world champ Sean Thompson watching these two athletes closely, and maybe you've seen these two more than any other on the top 34. Now you're living in California. Sean seeing Connor surf since he was just a little kid. How do you like their equipment they chose today?
I think their equipment looks so superb. They're both riding Channel Islands boards. I live right near Channel Islands, developed by Al Merrick, and they're both on the same boards. The boards are different though. Jordy's on a soft round tail, while Connor's on a squash tail. But both of them have that same searing bottom turn and that huge carve off the top. Connor definitely throws a bit of unique movements into his off the top. He's got that really unusual, unique mid-face jam. Jordy is, I think, perhaps a little bit faster and has carries more length in his turns, but both of them very, very dynamic. Connor definitely hunting for the barrels. Actually thought his wave might have been scored a little bit more highly on that. You got those 3 barrels. But I think judges are really looking for something that is absolutely outstanding, something that shows supreme commitment. And I think on that exchange, Jordy certainly was a little bit more committed.
Sean, pound for pound, who's the most powerful surfer out of these two?
Hell, pound for pound. Jordy's a lot heavier and bigger, but I would say pound for pound, Connor, man, he's a keg on legs.
Sean, watching Connor grow up, how did he separate himself from his generation? Does Connor appear to have a little bit more old school in his arsenal?
Totally old school. When I first met Connor, he was riding a single fin round tail, and that's kind of what he rode till he was about 12 years old. Everyone else was on 3 fins trying to bust airs, and Connor was surfing the walls at Rincon, just surfing in a fluid, rhythmical manner, and I think it really shows through in the way his surfing's developed. So while he might have started a little bit slow, he's certainly come on very strong.
Great to see, and great words from a former world champ, Sean Thompson, who represented South Africa all around the world. All eyes on the water now with beautiful, pristine, magical Jeffreys Bay and Jordy Smith. It's his turn to take over. Nice read on the full roundhouse cutback. Still casual, deep off the bottom, big hack. Nice rapid carve for Smith. Deeper off the bottom, clean. Crisp layback hack off the roof. Draws the layback carve down. Now setting up the magical inside track. Nice sweep once again for Smith. Hard off the bottom, blasting it through the lip. Wanted to finish on his feet, a big lofty float. Jams into the pit real quick just to get a cover up and a look back to celebrate. Strider, how you feeling out there?
Be kidding me with the sounds from the crowd on the beach. We're doing a little run from a wave right now, but when he came out of that bowl and he threw his arms up, everybody just screaming so loud. He's slapping the water. The vibe is alive down here at Jeffreys Bay, and it is amazing. The conditions couldn't be any better, and these guys are going to go blow for blow for the rest of this heat. I cannot wait to see this thing go down.
Well, Strider, we were talking about, well, Sean Thompson was really hoping to get a 10 based on turns. I mean, he got the head dip at the end, but really, the outcome of that score will be based on what he did on the open face.
Wow, did he just go to town on that thing? Absolutely blitzed it all the way through. Big hacks, laybacks. I mean, everything. You could just mix it up all the way through the inside. Such a pleasure to watch. And the beach went mental. It was just the best feeling. I got chicken skin just sitting out here watching it.
Good man, Strider. Potts, this one started off with a nice, cool, casual roundhouse.
Yep.
You knew big things were about to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing with Jeffreys Bay. Take your time. Get into that groove. Now, Sean wanted to see a 10-point ride with just turns. I think he might get his wish, Joe, because this has got to be one of the best surf waves we've seen today anyway. Maybe even the whole event. Look at those big, huge turns from Geordie. Nice and low off the bottom again. The judges still digesting that score as Geordie comes off the bottom yet again. Now starting to mix it up. Gives that tail a bit of a flick right there. Now he goes into the lip. 3-4 drop. Showing some variety. Showing some combination of major moves. Tail tapping drop. And guess what? Sean got his wish.
A 10-point ride for Geordie Smith, answering to Connor Coffin once again. Paddling faster than ever. He is absolutely fired up. A 9.37 start into a 10-point ride. Connor Coffin's 8.67 now is a throwaway since the combo's increased in these buttery, magical conditions. We saw the wind just lay down. The color of the water looks tropical.
Oh my gosh. Joe, do you think Geordie minds now that he had to have another surf out there? I mean, his first wave, a 9.37. And wave number 2, a perfect 10. One judge threw a 9.8, but that gets eliminated. 4 judges gave him 10s, and well-deserved as well. I mean, that was the end of the wave as Geordie Smith gets the crowd involved, and that's exactly what he does. I mean, he's absolutely amazing when it comes to surfing JBay. Dropped a lot of 10s, had a perfect heat here. And I'll tell you what, this is just classic JBay surfing. I mean, we talk about there's certain spots around the world that suit Geordie surfing. Bells Beach, one of them. JBay, definitely the other one, that's for sure.
Really incredible witnessing another 10. Got the perfect heat already. It's been a big part of the 10 club in this event so far. The round 4 heat that Geordie had, everyone had a 10 involved, but his is extra special in this one. Coming out with a lot of fire. He might have been trying to pace himself throughout this event. Knowing that it's not finals day anymore, he's letting it all fly now. Yeah, well, knowing that it's not going to be finals day now, he can really unload. He can really let go. Obviously, he'll have to surf one more heat today in the quarterfinals, coming up against Felipe Toledo, if he makes it through this heat. Now, I'm saying if because the waves are so good, there's no saying that Connor can't come back in this heat. Really incredible performance and amazing two-wave connection for Geordie Smith to kick things off. As we know, Connor Coffin joined the Micro Surf Academy this season. Rosie Hodge has Micro now.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, right now, Micro coaching Connor, I mean, we saw before this heat took place, they really had to lodge a complaint. That's a lot of mental energy that's going into, you know, putting that forward to the judges and the commissioner. What state was Connor in before he hit the water?
Yeah, before he hit the water, it was a real challenge for me as a coach. It was like, you know, really trying to take all the emotion out of it and have him paddle out there and surf a heat like you would any other heat. And that was, I feel like he's in a good place and he's fired up, but he's trying to hold his emotions down, and, you know, the ones that are going to get in the way anyway.
Well, that's the thing. That first exchange, we saw a lot of emotion from both the surfers. That was an important ride for both of them. So, you know, now that he's out the back, he's got some time to contemplate this combination situation. What words of wisdom would you give him?
I feel like a combo out here with this much time is not too bad, really, with the waves on offer. If he picks the right wave, he's got 10s in him as well. So hopefully he believes that, and I'm sure he will, because you know, his surfing's been so on point all event that it's a good heat to watch.
And you know, Geordie and Connor have similar approaches. What do you think the point of difference is and the strength for Connor in this heat?
Probably his variety in his carves. He's got kind of a few different stylish carves that he can go to, and as a surf fan, when he bottom turns, you don't know which one he's going to use. It's exciting, and I feel like, you know, and he's got a good variety in his repertoire.
Well, boys, we'll let you talk through the variety of Connor Coffin on this wave. Back to you, Joe.
Thank you, Rosie and Micro. Watching this one, there's the layback change up off the lip. Draws it out a little bit harder off the top. Now pulling in. Can he fight his way out? Solid stance, no problem for Coffin. Already into a full whip on the open face. Both these surfers are giving everything they've got for that quarterfinal spot. And Connor puts that one to bed on the inside corner. Brilliant rail work. Still fired up, and a great point from Rosie Hodge, just talking about the mental aspect of thinking you've lost, maybe thinking that you've got ripped off, but then pleading your case and getting the nod, and then having to get yourself together to compete again.
Yeah, really smart words from Glenn as well, just to say that, you know, trying to keep those emotions out of the way, the ones that are going to get in the way anyway. You want him to have emotion. You want him to go out there fired up, you know, and he's going to have to be, because he's in a really daunting situation at the moment. A 19.38 combination, so that means he needs a 9.38 just to climb out of the combo, and then he's going to need a perfect 10. So it is an uphill battle right now for Connor Coffin, but with the waves on offer, as Glenn touched on as well, it is pumping out there. It is absolutely perfect, and Connor's the kind of guy that has 10s in him for sure. Look at this turn, just unleashing some serious rail work, fighting his way through that section. The only thing that's going to let him down on this occasion, Joe, is that end section. Now, you need that dynamic finish to get the 10s, to get the 9s. You need that big end section. And this one, this wave just sort of faded away towards the end, and it was a lackluster finish to it. So I'm not seeing that wave get him out of the combo. So
Connor Coffin, 8.67, 7.33, back-to-back, still stays in combo with Geordie's start of a 9.37 and a 10-point ride once again to sort out round 5, heat number 3. Talked about the side of Connor pleading his case, getting that fair nod, and also for Jordy Smith. His heat put on hold last night when he had the lead, and Resurf this morning didn't go his way. And now the second time in the water with this one, and we talked about how resurfs don't happen too often. The one that comes to mind involved Jordy in the past at Tahiti when the clock was stopped when it shouldn't have been against the heat with Travis Logie when Jordy broke his ribs. Only voice I heard was yours, Potts, from the channel, because you were happening doing some work with Travis Logie at the time. And good thing you did. It was another one of those cases that you pleaded. You can't stop the clock. Jordy wasn't in a life-threatening situation. Jordy had to resurf that heat injured, and Travis ended up taking that win and moving on to the semifinals eventually. Yeah, his best result in his career. So, Jordy, though, here we go. Jordy, once again, fired up, looking to better a 9.37, big tail whip. Big section, and the big man climbs on top of the roof and crushes it. Even though it's a throwaway score, you can see the fire out of Jordy, a two-time JBay champ. Not pacing himself whatsoever, letting it all fly. I think fired up would be the understatement right now, Joe. I think he's definitely running on adrenaline, that's for sure. More sets coming through out the back. Jordy in a really good situation at the moment, so for him to better out, he's got to better that 9.37. I think he's got it in him. I think with the waves the way they are, I think Jordy's got another 10 in him. Can he show us 2 perfect heats in one event and put himself right up there with Owen, who did that in Fiji? And just looking at these sets pouring through, even the ones that are throwaways are so picture perfect. What a magical afternoon. A 2017 event here at the Corona Open JBay that we will never forget. Raining with 10s. We had a lot of the barrel 10s throughout the week. And Sean Thompson getting your wish. I mean, he got a little head dip at the end, Sean, but we know the 10 was already said and done.
The 10 was said and done, and I'm going to say that's the first time I've seen a carving 10. It was incredible to watch. But Geordie has that power surge off the bottom that I think is unequaled in surfing. And then when he starts powering up that concave to the lip, you don't really know what he's going to do. Is he going to do a huge mid-face hack? Is he going to do a big slide layback? He's got about 3 or 4 different maneuvers that he can bust out. Beautiful looking maneuver there. So Geordie just has so much variety. And we've said right the way through the event that it looks like Geordie has been surfing in 3rd gear. It looks like in this heat he's full on in 5th gear, just jamming. He's fired up. You can see he's so aggro about what happened that he just wants to stamp his authority on this break and this event.
I love the celebration from Geordie Smith.
Sean, where was your 10 sign? I thought you were going to hold that thing up, man.
I know, and I've got my 10 sign. I didn't have it ready. I can't believe it. I had it there yesterday waiting for the carving 10, and I'm so sorry I missed it with Geordie. But the crowd here is so behind him. The atmosphere up in the grandstand is electric. Everyone's got their 10-point signs. And when he finished that last wave and looked back at the crowd, all these 10s went up. It was like, yeah, baby, it was so cool.
Thank you so much. Sean Thompson, 77 world champ, part of that crew that busted down the door to create really what we're seeing today in pro surfing. Sean won the first event out here in 1981 over a solid field that wanted to take over perfect supers. And now we've seen a whole new game change with Geordie Smith, the guy that's always been destined to win a world title. At the moment, world number 3 in maybe one of his better starts in a long time since he took over Bells Beach. Right now with a massive total over Connor Coffin. As we know, we're resurfing, but this is not it. We are getting into the next matchup, quarterfinal number 1. Medina versus McFanning in a world champions matchup for a spot into the semifinals. We'll be back for more after this. Thanks for watching the Corona Open JBay, stop number 6 of the World Surf League Championship Tour, and never miss a wave. Message WSL on Facebook for It's On alerts, or sign up at worldsurfleague.com for It's On email alerts. You'll get a message right when they make the call with Commissioner Karen Farrow, and you'll never miss a beat of your favorite athletes all around the world. Also, download the WSL app if you get a chance so you can watch all the action. You can follow your favorite athletes. And one of our favorite things to do, make predictions, play fantasy surfer, which is insane to watch. People take over your clubhouse. You have bragging rights. There's a lot on the line. And you can really look at the forecasts as well, which are always posted on worldsurfleague.com from Surfline, and see who's going to do damage. I think JBay's a little special, too, making those predictions, because there's so many different storylines of who might be the last one standing.
Absolutely, Joe. My little boy's laying in bed watching it right now as we speak, and it's just such a beautiful thing. I mean, never going to miss a beat here. And why would you? I mean, it is the greatest show on earth today, that's for sure. We've had 3 or 4 epic days of waves here at Jeffreys Bay, and there's still more to come. We're not going to quite finish today, but we're going to save semis and finals for tomorrow in 6 to 8 foot JBay that is predicted. So, oh my gosh.
Connor Coffin with 10 minutes on the clock, looking to break a combination. Driving through a beautiful carve. Nice rip off the coping as he airdrops. Still some room. He loves to pack this section. He's going to have to float it for now. Nice deep searing cut back. It's starting to bottom out. More of a lift to drill off the lip for Connor. Now he's on an absolute racetrack. Legs are burning off the bottom. Huge down carve. Holds the rail to rip one off the roof. What a dreamy finishing move for the surfer in his second year on tour. Easily one of his favorite waves in the world. Growing up on a point break called Rincon in Santa Barbara. Completely different in a lot of ways. This one's got way more power. Get way more speed out of the gates. But Connor channeling that down the line rhythm. 7s and 8s already, but he knows he needs a lot more. How do you do on that one, Potts?
Yeah, well, it's tough. I mean, you know, there's a little bit of downtime on the way. There was a little bit of chasing in the section. But yeah, he surfed it probably as good as you could. Beautiful opening maneuver. Comes around the section, connects nicely, and then gets behind the section. Now he's sort of racing to get back out, up and over the top. So transition turns there. Now he gets that rail back in the water, which is what he needs to do against Geordie. He needs some big, huge, radical turns. And this is where it starts to speed up. So there was a lot of, so there was about 100 yards there where there was no maneuvers, which is going to hurt the scoring potential. Now he unleashes that turn, draws off the bottom, and bang. I love that combination of that slice, holding that rail, and then getting the board nice and vertical. Great finish on that occasion. And he's going to need it. He's going to need every little bit of it.
As we come out of that one with Connor waiting on scores, but back to live with Jordy Smith. Just pacing his way down the line. Big hook right off the top for Smith. Blows the board out the back and he's down. Smith knows he has to do a whole lot to put a keeper in his score line, trying to better a 9.37. Meanwhile, scores coming in from Connor Coffin. It's his best, a 9.07. However, still in combo. So even though he's got 7s, 8s, and 9s, surfing a dream heat against one of the best ever at JBay, still needs 2 new waves with 7:40 to go.
17.74, 2-wave total for Connor Coffin, and it's not enough. Oh my goodness. What's going to be going through Connor's mind right now? He's going to have to quieten things down. He's going to have to find the wave, Joe. I mean, they're out there. Those 10s are out there. Geordie's proved it. Connor's an amazing surfer himself, so he's just going to have to knuckle down. He's got 7 minutes. That is the downside. That is the enemy right now, is time for Connor Coffin. To turn a heat around here at Jeffreys Bay, you need quite a bit of time on the clock.
And it's been such a dream heat, Potts, at the 7-minute mark. A 10 and a 9.37 for Geordie out of the gates. We are absolutely loving the action. Strider, you doing okay on the water?
I'm losing it out here, boys. It is just one of those moments where you see those things come into your mind. Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed. You see Ali standing over his opponent. I mean, I think Geordie's that fired up right now. Having to resurf again has probably got him to the next level. I really do. I think that this is almost a bad thing for the rest of the competitors in the event. I'm loving it. I'm calling Chick Hearn. This thing's in the fridge. The jello's jiggling. The eggs are hard, baby. Joey, what do you think?
Oh, my gosh. I love the famous Chick Hearn, the voice of the Lakers for many years. And he would put games to bed with plenty of time on the clock, just like Strider did. And I think, Strider, that's a fair call. 10, 9.37 start. And believe me, Connor absolutely ripping, but not breaking the combo at this stage. Puts him in a tough position and without priority.
Yeah.
So Connor's been a standout in this event. He finished over Geordie in round 1. That's why this matchup was huge. The first time we saw it, Connor bringing that fair video clip from his filmer Ryan Perry. That was the missed vision from the panel. Earned himself this 35 clock again with probably a heat that he'll never forget. Even though he's on the second place side of it, he got a fair shot, another chance, and the waves are so groomed and perfect, it'll be a memory for a lifetime.
Yeah, these guys won't be forgetting this too soon, that's for sure. To just have the opportunity to paddle back out there, win, lose or draw. They're both winners, both surfing incredibly well. Connor with a 9.07, 8.67, still in a combo situation. That's enough to win probably 85 to 90% of the heats we've seen in this event, except the one he's in at the moment.
Unbelievable round 5 heat. We're lucky that we got to see it again as we check out the heat recap. Jordy Smith came out with a vengeance. He was holding back, maybe even to the day where he had 2 10s. Came out with a 9.37, and maybe one of my favorite claims he's ever laid down, Pots.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it was more the passion that came out, just the aggro, just the fact that, hey, I've got to do this again. You want to see some passion. There's some passion right there. Jordy Smith just fired up, gets the crowd involved. Connor Coffin answers back though, but it's just not enough. This kid is surfing incredibly well. So impressed with his whole attitude through the situation. He just pleaded his case, got himself a resurf. And as I said, win, lose or draw, this kid's a winner. I see him with a huge future ahead of him. But I tell you what, this first wave is absolutely dreamy from Connor Coffin, driving through that barrel, not quite as deep as you'd like, into the section number 2. Look at that, standing tall, and then a little bonus section right at the end, almost running straight over as he comes out the end of that one. And that was the opening exchange. We knew we were in for a classic heat. Jordy Smith came right back with another 10. Joe, this kid is just full of 10s in this event, and I don't think he is finished just yet. With the swell prediction the way it is, we're going to see quarterfinals back in the water. We're going to see the semis and finals tomorrow in pumping Jeffreys Bay. Jordy Smith's just got to let it all hang out, which he's done. He was in cruise mode up until this heat, and now he's cranked it right up, and we're starting to see the best from Jordy Smith.
So impressive to see Jordy on this kind of roll, this fired up, adding another 10 based on turns. Ton of variety, ton of power and control, which made him one of the greats at JBay for such good reason. Took him to back-to-back titles, but now he's more mature. He's got more in his arsenal. He's stronger than ever, and he's got the crowd on his side. Connor answered again. 8.67 was the start, then a 9.07, but still comboed. Yeah,
still comboed. Unfortunately, that 8.67 didn't have that classic finish that he was looking for, but this one did. And it could have got himself out of the combo. He needs a 9.38 to get him into that single wave digit. But unfortunately, just not enough for 9.07 on this occasion. But beautiful surfing here from Connor Coffin. You can tell that this is one of his favorite waves. Big gouging maneuver, holds the rail and finishes dynamic. Connor Coffin on a bit of a roll, but unfortunately not enough at the moment to take down an in-form, a passionate, maybe a little bit angry Jordy Smith.
What an incredible matchup. 2:30 to go. Jordy Smith out in front, holding priority to get back into the matchup with Felipe Toledo in quarterfinal number 3. So Jordy dealing with a series of resurfs from last night's decision. It definitely makes safety a reflex. Had to get out there this morning. Toledo just did the impossible back-to-back alley-oops, one of the greatest waves ever performed on at JBay this morning. That sent him into the matchup with Connor for the first time, but came out more fired up, treated by beautiful conditions here at JBay. And now he has 2 minutes to enjoy this moment. Remember, Potts, the first time he won this event, he went up to Bolito, won the Mr. Price Pro, and that kind of gave him this really good catapult to win that final over Adam Melling the first time. He's done that again this year, except now he's had a better start, equal third with a win already to his name. So signs are positive. Probably the best year for Jordy in his career to really accomplish that world title.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing missing, isn't it, really? Jordy's been touted as a world champion from the get-go. It's taken a few years for him to find his feet. He's fought through injuries. Finally, he's in a good headspace. He's physically and mentally ready. And I think he's surfing probably the best he's ever surfed. So if he can maintain this kind of form through this event, he's going to be very tough to beat if he keeps dropping 10-point rides. And he's going to have to in the next round because he's going to come up against the juggernaut, Felipe Toledo, who surfed out of his skin in that last round.
So incredible to watch this kind of form and rhythm. 55 seconds to go. We're going to see Jordy Smith once again advancing on into the quarterfinals. Connor Coffin getting an equal ninth, but a huge reputation when it comes to JBay. Connor's always going to be a favorite to perform. Remember, he eliminated Joel Parkinson when he threw down back-to-back nines. Had Parko comboed at the end. did send Jordy into round 2. He's a class act on tour, and he's kind of always been that way. When Connor was 10 years old, he really just spoke to you like an adult. He could have grown-up conversations. He was always attentive and thoughtful, very polite. And now his surfing's just rising. I was almost wondering if he'd become a free surfer because he was so cruisy. But that competitive drive is cleared today. And Connor will be fired up when we head into Tahiti.
Yes, he will. That's for sure. And it's a kind of wave where, you know, Connor can excel. I think he's, you heard Sean talk about that. He's got that old school in him. He likes big, heavy water waves. He's a great kid. He's an amazing ambassador to the sport. And we're going to see this kid have a very long and successful career, that's for sure.
Connor Coffin just sealing the deal, and another fun wave all the way through the inside. He participated in the Corona Highlights Specialty event, absolutely ripped on a twin fin alongside Jordy. So these two have spent a lot of time in the water together throughout this week. And Smith proves a big point, 9.37, 10-point ride to back it up. All at the start with a lot of fire. We can't wait to see the matchup with Toledo, because we know Toledo wants to steal that fire right back.
I tell you what, this morning the heat that they had was probably one of the best I've seen, probably one of the best 10-point rides I've ever seen. But Jordy Smith just locked in a 10-point ride of his own and moves into the quarterfinals. So what a day. What a day, Joe.
What a beautiful Wednesday afternoon for pro surfing. The Corona Open JBay now once again has the final series stacked up with the final 8. Starting off with Gabriel Medina and Mick Fanning in the first matchup. We'll also see Toledo standing by. See what he might be doing to the open face out here today. Julian Wilson with a matchup with world #1 Matt Wilkinson as this one continues. We'll return to the Corona Open JBay right after this.